Hi guys, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay, let's get you guys up to date with the weekly goings on with XRP and HBAR. So starting off with XRP, we have the impact of the Clarity Act. So there's an influencer called Vincent Van Code on X, and he was basically talking about how he believes that the Clarity Act will have a bigger impact on XRP than people think. And the reason why he was saying this is because a lot of people look at XRP as like the crypto with legal clarity, right? So they say, well, you know, the Clarity Act doesn't really matter for XRP because it has legal clarity. And I do understand that sentiment. However, there are some points that Vincent Van Code made, and I have made my own points as well as to why I do think it can still have a bigger impact than people realize. So one of the points that Vincent Van Code made was the ruling that was made on XRP was district, not federal. So he believes that, you know, there could still be a chance that federally Ripple could still be sued. Now, the one thing I'll say is the way Vincent Van Code made it sound was like they would bring back up the old lawsuit that the SEC and Ripple previously went through. I don't agree with that personally, because I don't believe you can just go back to a lawsuit once it's done and dusted, like once it's finally actually resolved. I don't think you can try and come and resurrect it. But in terms of like future lawsuits, yeah, I guess that could be possible because they could try and like basically sue them on different grounds. So I definitely understand his point there. The other thing I'll say is this, and this is like more my own point. I think the thing that people don't understand when it comes to like a company being sued and whatnot is that like it leaves a stigma, right? Like there's always that stigma there. So, you know, like if you think about like celebrities when they have allegations made about them, like really bad allegations, even if they beat those allegations, usually the stigma's still there, right? Like they don't always just move past it completely. So even if they do get found innocent, there's always still that thing of, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? You always still have that thing. It like tarnishes their reputation. And so I look at that kind of the same way with Ripple. And an example I made was, you know, David Schwartz said in the past that when they had the SEC confirm that they were going to sue them, they spoke to a company that they were having they was like in the midst of doing a partnership with them, and it was a big company, and they told them that they was going to get sued by the SEC. And you know, the company said, okay, look, like you guys go ahead and sort that out, we can wait, and then once you get it sorted, we'll get back to business. And that never happened. The company never came back. So that just kind of shows you the impact that that lawsuit had. So that's a prime example as to how when you've got the Clarity Act, and I think all these companies are okay just in general, because you got to think with the, you know, the crypto industry right now, if like let's say a bank was coming into the crypto industry and they was to say like, okay, so are we okay to come in here right now and start using these technologies, etc.? They'd be like, well, no, because, you know, we haven't got the Clarity Act passed yet, but when we do, then, you know, everything will be all cool. And then you say, but there is one company who have the token XRP. They've gone through a lawsuit already, so they now have legal clarity. The company will probably be like, I think I'll just wait until we get the whole legal clarity for the whole space. Because you'd want to just know that it's safe overall, right? You wouldn't want to be thinking, okay, I'm in this territory where they're telling me legally it's still, you know, not really confirmed what you can or can't do, and there's only one company out here that's okay. Like, you might be thinking, well, what if something still goes wrong and then I still get into trouble, or somehow it involves another network and then that network is not legally safe and we could get impacted that way. So banks are not going to take these types of chances. They're just not going to do it. So I do think the Clarity Act will just make these, you know, institutions just feel a lot safer, and I do think that could lead to like bigger, broader adoption for XRP overall. Okay, so moving on, we then have XRP potentially having a 60,000% increase. Okay, so basically what the analyst was saying is that XRP is following the same pattern that it did in 2017 that led to its 66,000% increase. Okay, when it went up to like $3.30, I believe it was. And so the general gist is like, is that where we are at this point? So look, I'm not a chart analyst, so I'm not here to be, you know, like giving you my golden opinion that you guys should be following. All I say is this: is it possible that we could be in that position where we're following that trend? It's possible. I don't know for sure, right? And the thing I'll say is, like, in the 2017 bull run, it did have a point where it had a rally and then it had a pause it consolidated for a while and then it hit up to the $3. So it didn't just go straight up to the $3 and that was it. It had a hit up to, let's say, I think I want to say like $1 or $2 maybe, and then it dropped down and then it consolidated for a while and then it went up to the $3. So it is possible that we've had that run up to $3. We're now having this consolidation period down at the $1 area, and then we'll shoot off to the next all-time high. That is possible. So I don't know how true or accurate that's going to be. Again, I'm not a chart analyst, but it's plausible. I hope it's true. I'm sure you guys do too. I'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, we'll get more information. If there's anything more that comes to pass, I'll obviously be sure to share that with you. But we'll see how it goes. The one thing I will say, not to be, negative, because let's just say we don't get 60,000%. Like, we could still get, for example, 40,000% or 20,000%. Like, that would still be massive gains. But I don't think it's as likely we'll get 66,000 again. Like, it's not likely we'll get that exact same amount. So the reason being is two reasons, and I'll keep it short and sweet. One is diminishing returns. So every time we've had a bull run, the percentage gains have never been the same. It's slowly gone lower and lower over time, which is to be expected because more liquidity is going into the industry. And two, there's way more cryptos out here now. So there's way more options. Money is spread a lot more thin. So for those two reasons, I don't think we'll get 60,000 again. But I do think it's possible that we could still get, like 20,000%, etc., that kind of thing. Okay. Moving on, we then got the product that Ripple have now put out, which is called Ripple Mint. So this is a product basically for stable coins. A lot of people might sigh when they hear that because it's more about RLUSD, but I've explained in the video in full, so I recommend you watch that, why it is still going to benefit XRP. One, it's being done on the XRP ledger, so XRP is still going to need to be utilized for every transaction, so it's going to be burning XRP, which will increase scarcity over time. And two, for the lower token pairs to RLUSD, like the ones that are in exotic corridors, for example, those are going to use XRP as a bridge asset. So XRP can still be used for its purpose as a bridge asset in those instances. So it is still adding utility to XRP. And I said this in the other video, like, there's going to be companies that at the moment still don't really trust crypto. Like, as we were saying before about the Clarity Act and stuff like that, they might not want to, deal with crypto. So them using RLUSD, a stablecoin, might have given us access to XRP being used indirectly that wouldn't have been utilized at all before. Because they might have said, look, if it's not a stablecoin, we're just not going to use it. We're not dealing with crypto. We'll deal with stablecoins at the most. So that's it. So, like, if they're then saying, okay, we'll use, RLUSD, well, they're indirectly using the XRP ledger, which is using XRP for each transaction. And on occasion, XRP is a bridge asset. So do you see what I mean? So indirectly, this is still going to help XRP overall. So I think it's a positive. Okay, so moving on to Hedera, we've got Rosen who've dropped a product to Hedera, and I think this is really great. So long story short, they've brought out an app which is where you can do a lot of little small tasks, and for those tasks you get paid in USDC. So an example I'll give you of this is like back in the day when I used to have my phone and, international calls wasn't cheap. Like, you couldn't just go on WhatsApp and do an international call for free. I used to have an app where I just watch ads, which would build up credits. And each time I watch an ad, it would build up credits. And that led to me then being able to make an international call using those credits. So I found that really handy because it didn't mean I had to spend money. Like, yes, I had to spend a bit of my time, but I got paid for it, right? Like, in a way, it helped pay for it. So for people in other countries, like third world countries and things like that, this is going to help in two ways. It's banking the unbanked, right? Because they can open up a crypto wallet and then they'll be able to, get the money via the crypto wallet. And also it's opening them up to opportunities where they can make money. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't have to be just for third world countries. This can be for, people in the UK, people in America, like anywhere. This is just opening the door for like people to just make money. So I just think it's a great thing overall. Like, I really like the idea of this, and I think a lot of people are going to jump on it, especially like younger people who they might not want to do like a normal job. This is the kind of thing where they can just be their own boss. They pick what jobs they want to do and they just make a bit of extra money on the side, right? Like if you're a student or something like that, it could really, be useful. So I think that's really great to see. The next thing we've got is about HBAR and its price action. So yeah, there was two analysts in question that I'd put up, and they're basically saying that HBAR could be on the verge of starting to basically go into an uptrend. Again, I'm not a market analyst or anything like that, so I'm not in a position to say what's going to happen. To me, HBAR is just following the rest of the market. All the market's in like stagnation right now, but is it possible that this is like a mid-cycle correction and we're going to start to move up? Yeah, it's very possible. You know, that is plausible. So I don't know for sure. But looking at how the market has been and what some analysts are saying, some are saying that towards the end of this year, we could start to see, you know, a move back up. I hope that's the case. Like, I don't know if that's true, but I do hope that is the case because, like you guys, I'm ready for this stuff to happen. Like, I'm ready to go kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So we'll keep an eye on it, but I don't know for sure. Like, I'm more hoping that will happen, but I can't say 100% because I'm not a chart analyst, so I can't validate what they're saying, right? But I thought I'd share it with you because it's the general market sentiment, so you get an idea of what people are saying and where they think HBAR is going. But yeah. If you want to know more, I'd recommend you watch the full video because I've explained a bit more in depth, right? Because this is just a like quick summary. Okay, so finishing off, we've got the Hedera token unlock. Okay, so in regards to this, this is something that happens on a regular basis. So for people who are not aware, Hedera have like X amount of tokens like locked up in like an escrow, and every now and again they release them, and it's to basically help fund certain things like developers, activities, and things that they do to continue to grow the network. A lot of people have been wondering about this, like some are worried because they're saying it's diluting the token, and some are saying, hey, this could lead to a massive upswing. So in terms of the upswing, I don't really think it's going to lead to that, to be honest with you, but I also don't think it's doom and gloom. At the end of the day, they're going to be helping to fund the network, bolster the network, improve it, make it more efficient, and also get more developers involved, which could lead to massive use cases being created that could ultimately bring value to the network. So to me, I'm not going to complain about that. This is something that, you know, you can look up. It's not something that they've hid from anyone. So all I would say is like, just make sure that you're doing your research before you invest in a project because, you know, like these are things that you'd want to know, right? Because some people are upset by it, but it's like if you did your research, you'd know that kind of like this was to be expected. But look, all I say is I don't think overall it's a bad thing. Like to me, it's like a sacrifice for the greater good. So yes, it is going to dilute the token. That is true. But at the end of the day, all this is going to help to improve the network overall. So to me, it's a small sacrifice to pay. I don't mind it personally. Obviously, different people have different perspectives. But in terms of the upswing as well, I personally don't remember seeing an unlock where that's happened. There's apparently been an unlock previously where there was a 700% uptrend from it. I do not remember that personally. I don't. But again, I don't look at my crypto portfolio every day because I kind of just don't want to get in the emotional roller coaster of looking at it day in, day out. But yeah, I don't remember that at all personally. So I don't think it's going to do that because it's not a positive thing. It's not like, oh, this is great and whatever. But at the same time, it's not doom and gloom either, right? It's just something that happens. So I don't think it's going to create anything price-wise personally. And again, I'm not a chart analyst or anything like that. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. But I don't think it's something where I look at this and say, oh my God, you know, HBAR is never going to recover from this. It's not a big deal. And I'll just let you know, there will be more token unlocks to come. So just prepare for that anyway. But yeah, overall, I wouldn't be concerned about that personally. That's just me. Okay, that's it, guys. You're all up to date with this week's going on. So I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you can be updated for future XRP and HBAR content. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be alerted on when I do drop a new video. Thank you very much for watching this. And I'll see you all on the next one.